Welcome back. You're watching ED Insight. Gone are the days when a lobbyist's job was to cut shady deals and carry bags of money to politicians and bureaucrats. While some of that still goes on, lobbying these days takes professionals and case-style arguments. Lakshmi Subramanian brings you up close with the new face of lobbying.
I know everybody, I know every single minister, from the Prime Minister on down. Every one of them, they're my friends. They were out of power those days, so we should sit and have tea every day together. So I could call up anybody and talk to anybody.
A tall claim you would think, but then 60-year-old Rajiv Desai is no common man with an ordinary job. He's been a journalist and steered one of India's leading PR firms, IPAN, for nearly 2 decades. And 5 years ago, Desai set up his own PR, public affairs and advocacy firm, Comma Consulting. He sought after in the Delhi circuit because he was appointed by Sonia Gandhi as media counsellor for the Congress party in 1997 and was media advisor for the 1989 and 1991 election campaigns of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. His list of clients include the likes of Bharti Airtel, Citibank, Microsoft, the Government of Scotland, the Tourism Department of Dubai, Intel and Deutsche Bank. It's a well-paying job, no doubt, but it is also a tedious one.
Persuasion, a lot of research, proper formulation, just like a lawyer. Formulate your arguments cogently, find the right people. That's really what it's all about.
It sounds simple, but it's not. And that's why professional lobbyists like Desai are much in demand. Needless to say that economic reforms, industrial growth and cutthroat competition in the corporate world has catapulted this business to dizzying heights. These changes have increased the variety of advocacy needs, and that has in turn also changed the face of lobbying in India. Sure, the money bags are important, but it's the cause that defines who will play the lobbyist. So when it comes to matters of credibility, you'll find industrialists like Ratan Tata, Mukesh Ambani, Sunil Mittal, Narayana Murthy and Deepak Parekh playing the lobbyist with policy makers. When it comes to representing communities, chambers and associations step in. When dealing with people below the powers that be, it's retired bureaucrats turned consultants who pull the strings. PR firms come in focus when dealing with informal channels and media. Companies also hire full-time employees to liaison with the government over day-to-day issues. And in case of social issues, it's the NGOs and activists who do the lobbying.
As long as we can determine that the NGOs or the particular NGO or a particular NGO is ensuring that it is for the common good, I think there is no issue really engaging with the state and lobby for policy change.
Lobbying by a PR firm can sometimes be mistaken for getting a benefit for a particular person instead of lobbying for a change of policy.
In all of this, the one category of lobbyists that has changed the most is PR firms. These firms have branched out from plain Jane media management and set up departments like external affairs, environment management and public affairs, all of this to serve the myriad lobbying needs of their clients. Some of the big players in this space are IPAN, Perfect Relations and Genesis BM.
A businessman wants to run his business and he doesn't want to spend time necessarily trying to figure out how does he get approvals, is the policy really helpful, do they need to speak to the media because his stakeholders, his shareholders need to hear his voice. He can't keep talking to everyone. So so that's why PR agencies have evolved into doing different or have increased the bandwidth of services that they provide.
And this is how they do it. Set their target, carry out an intensive research and data gathering exercise, mobilize in-house resources to identify decision makers, network with the stakeholders, and finally push the agenda through.
Today, there is a large volume of the kind of work that we do is very much number crunching, policy pummeling, and ensuring that voices are heard which otherwise don't get heard.
And to make sure those voices are heard, lobbyists today use both direct and indirect techniques. While direct methods include personal meetings with officials to influence decisions, writing letters to authorities and approaching autonomous institutions like national commissions and courts, indirect methods involve commissioning academic studies and research, forming alliances with like-minded organizations, and most importantly, generating publicity through media.
Lobbying or advocacy is about creating an informed opinion within a government through a process of dialogue to influence policy. But the purpose of that influence should be the greatest good of the greatest number. I think that's the direction that advocacy needs to go, and that is the direction that professionals or professional lobbyists follow.
That's also the line this new breed of lobbyists toe. And the latest to join the bandwagon are retired bureaucrats who come with the required domain knowledge and know the bureaucratic system in and out. Until recently, such lobbyists preferred to work within companies, either as board members or advisors. But now some of them, like Pradeep Baijal, former chairman of TRAI, have formed their own lobby consultancy, while others like ex-finance secretary Ashok Jha have joined legal firms. While lobbying may have graduated from suitcase style to case law style, it continues to branch out. Experts are sounding caution towards this set of educated and sophisticated lobbyists who are out to grab the moon. But if the profession is getting organized, so should the laws.
That brings us to the most important aspect of lobbying, regulation. Find out how India fares compared to more mature economies after the short break. Don't go away.